Hello, it is Monday, April 7th, 2025, and some call it Black Monday. Black Monday because the markets are deeply in the red, and I can show you here. Let me get myself out of the way. This is today's situation on the crypto markets, and when we look at the stock market, equally bad. What does all of this mean, and why does it happen? Basically, the reason is Trump's tariffs wars, which truly have gotten the world in a downwards spin. And the reason he's doing that is because he needs to refinance the United States debt. And for that, he needs interest rates to be low. He wants to force the Fed's hands to lower the interest rates. And his way of doing that is by slowing the enormous, artificially inflated growth bubble that we've been in for the past few years. And yeah, it's definitely taking some short-term pain to fix all of this. What this means for us and for the markets is that we are seeing enormous losses. We've seen, of course, the Dow Jones and S&P 500 lose a tremendous amount of value that was built over a year was lost within a weekend. And the Asian markets are not doing well. No of the markets are actually doing well. What that means for Bitcoin is that it most likely there's a high risk that it will fall even more. And I show you why that is the case. So here, if you look at Bitcoin, you can see that over the night, Sunday to Monday, so Monday being now, it dipped as low as 74,000. However, the thing with Bitcoin is that it often correlates with the stock market. So I'll bring up the stock market here for you. And what I want you to see is that the Dow Jones plunged down to the level here of 38,347. And when you go and look at what lows it has met in the past, you can see that here it has basically met the lows of August of 24, between May and August of 24. Okay. Now, Bitcoin has been holding up and is basically stuck at this level. And the reason why that is because we have most likely a very strong buyer in the market who prevents the price from falling. And that buyer is called Michael Saylor. So here is Michael Saylor's purchase history. And what is important to note is this green dotted line, it shows his average price entry. So you can see that his average price entry for Bitcoin is around, it's around $70,000 right now. And in order for him to not be in the negative with his investments, which would really be something that he doesn't like, he needs to constantly purchase Bitcoin to defend that price, right? Now, how long can he raise these enormous amounts of money? That is the name of the game. Each time you see a green dot on this chart, Michael Saylor purchases a bunch of Bitcoin. And that is basically the reason why Bitcoin has held up. Will he continue to do that? Will he continue having the funds to do that? That is the big question. Let's just assume for a moment that he won't be able to hold up. Then it would make sense for Bitcoin to follow the Dow Jones and fall down to the lows of 2024. And if we look at Bitcoin, you can see here, I marked it with this blue arrow, those lows are around $50,000 mark. Okay? So while we are here right now, we had this obviously we had this plunge, and now we're all, of course, hoping for this to be our bottom and slowly regain this trend line, right? And once this trend line is regained, we can hopefully continue the bull run. I want that to happen, but there is a true possibility this week, actually, depending on how bad the markets evolve today on Monday, April 7th, there is a possibility that we could continue the way down to these levels here. And that would just be mirroring what the Dow Jones has done, which would not be out of the ordinary at all. So that's the question we have to ask ourselves. And what is really important for you to know is that in crypto, when we have these massive corrections, that feels very sucky right now, but it is literally the reason why you get asymmetrical opportunities to create wealth. But you only get those opportunities when you wait for the right moment to jump back into the market. Right now, you should all be sitting in cash, obviously. And the question is, when do you redeploy and buy back into Bitcoin? It is really, there's two camps right now. There's the camp that says, we think this is the bottom. And then there's the camp that says, we think it can go further down because Michael Saylor cannot possibly keep up with buying Bitcoin to these extents. So that's quite a complicated decision to make. I will admit to that. But the other aspect that I want to urge you is to be patient, because even if you don't catch the bottom, but you jump back into Bitcoin when it is in an uptrend, you might not have caught the exact bottom, but you're not losing money and you are in a confirmed uptrend, right? So I personally will be patient and see how this plays out. And this is for all of you investors out there. Right now, this is probably a day trader's heaven. You can short the market. There's lots of volatility. And that is, of course, good for day traders. But most people don't have the time to day trade. They are swing traders at best, if not long-term investors. And for those individuals, it's important to just buy when the price is low, sell when it's high. So there's also a possibility that the bull run is over. It is a possibility. And all of that, we have to look for confirmation what is going to happen. So what that means practically is that you wait until there's a clear support here around 50,000, or coin regains very clear support here around 90,000. But until we know what Bitcoin decides to do, probably not a good time to jump back in. And I know that I said in previous videos that moment could be around 72,000. And that is still true, but we have to have multiple candles forming here above that support line, right? I just want you to know what the possibilities are right now and not be impatient, because it doesn't really matter whether you jump back in here and ride the wave up, or you jump back in here and ride the wave up. What is important is that you don't lose your capital. That is of utmost importance. For the rest, again, for you, all you day traders out there, it is really day traders heaven. You can zoom in on a lower time frame and trade those ups and downs. Obviously, there was, for those of you who caught this bounce here, where is it? I'm gonna get myself out here. For those of you who caught this bounce here, congratulations. That was right. That was a 3% move. That is really good. Even without leverage, you can make some nice income like that. All right, that's it for today's video. I definitely also want to bring your attention to another form of investing in crypto using liquidity pools. It is something that is way stabler and way easier to maintain, and it can lead to consistent gains no matter what the market is doing. There are a few caveats, of course, but I like to use a platform that automates that for me. And I am offering you to look into that and take one of my master classes to learn on how to do that. So this link is probably around my video, and you can take advantage of that. For now, stay safe and be patient. That's it for now. Bye-bye. I'll be live next time again. I'm here in a hotel and internet was not appropriate to go live. But yeah, thank you for your time and stay safe.